Logical Fallacies in the Defense of Proposition 8 by Brendan Wells. The Defense of Marriage Act and Proposition 8 have yielded controversy across the United States, as the American people have divided themselves on each side of the argument. I have chosen to use and analyze lawyer Charles Cooper's arguments against gay marriage as a way to illustrate and explain three logical fallacies. These three logical fallacies are as follows: appeal to ignorance, appeal to tradition, and the red herring fallacy. The first fallacy, appeal to ignorance, or argumentum ad ignorantum, states that a proposition is true simply on the basis that it has not been proven false, or that it is false because it has not been proven true. In other words, statement A is unproved, therefore not A is true, or statement not A is unproved, therefore A is true. The second fallacy is appeal to tradition, or argumentum ad antiquitatem. This occurs when it is assumed that something is correct, or better, simply because it is older, traditional, or always has been done. This reasoning has the following form: A is old or traditional, therefore A is correct or better. The third fallacy is the red herring fallacy, and this occurs in which an unrelated or diverted argument is presented in order to divert attention away from the original issue. In other words, the goal is to win the argument by leading attention away from the original argument and to another topic. This reasoning has the following form: topic A is being argued, topic B is presented as being relevant to topic A when topic B is not correct or not relevant to A. Topic A is then abandoned. These fallacies can be illustrated in many ways, but now I'm going to show you the examples used in Charles Cooper's arguments in the Defense of Marriage Act. First, when asked if he conceded to the argument that homosexual marriage yields no harm or denigration to traditional opposite-sex couples, Cooper said no, and his reasoning was that it was impossible for anyone to foresee the future accurately enough to know what those real-world consequences would be. There isn't any proof, however, that they exist in the first place. This is an example of appeal to ignorance because Cooper incorrectly argues that the argument that homosexual marriages will not have consequences on heterosexual marriage is unproven. There must be consequences. Or, in other words, because statement A is unproved, not A must be true. Later on, Cooper stated that allowing gay marriage could potentially have adverse effects on the definition of marriage, that definition being the traditional heterosexual couple. Also, Cooper argued that marriage is inextricably linked to the objective biological fact that opposite-sex couples, and only such couples, are capable of creating new life together, and therefore are capable of furthering or threatening society's existential interest in responsible procreation. This is an example of appeal to tradition because Cooper is arguing that we shouldn't change from the traditional view simply because it's the traditional view of marriage. Lastly, when asked to identify the harm same-sex marriage poses to the state's interests, Cooper couldn't answer clearly. In fact, he argued that his side only had to show that allowing gay marriage would not advance marriage as a state institution. This is an example of the red herring fallacy, because Cooper doesn't address the argument presented and instead responds with a diverted argument. In conclusion, I'm not arguing for or against either side of Proposition 8, but pointing out some of the fallacies in Cooper's arguments and explaining them from a logical standpoint. The bottom line in regards to Proposition 8 is that the Supreme Court is still undecided on the issue and will be for the next few months. The indecision could go either way.